Oh, I see her as a soldier. She's just running through some swamp. And she's actually a woman soldier too.
Mm-hmm.
Luna Operation Command, Mars Defense Force, Kruger. She has she has a lot of psychic abilities. She feels ahead of time what's gonna happen. But I see there's like so there are two things I see right away at looking at her. There's a metallic, it almost looks like uh what's the metal? I mean, it's like a dark gold round flat disc with a hole in the middle, like in her head and in her chest area where the heart is. And I see periodically they will just take her on a spaceship. Spaceship looks triangular, black triangular spacecraft. And I see military in black outfits. Actually looks like Kruger a lot. Yeah. And they take her to, but they don't take her to the moon or Mars. No, they take her to the underground facility. It's like I see there's like a long tunnel, and then the long tunnel opens up into a bigger tunnel, and the bigger tunnel opens up in a bigger tunnel, and the huge tunnel has like a hangar with all the spacecrafts there.
Mm-hmm.
And also there's to the right, it's almost like a branches, like a tunnel with lots of corridors. Each corridor leads to one room. They're not connected, they're actually separate. And this is the medical branch, that's what they call it, surgical medical facilities. And so this is like the overlapping. This is her parallel life when I see the name like Uganda. That's what comes to me, and that's
Mm-hmm.
it. She's like the she's like in charge of people. So basically, she pulled herself out of the army. And here's the thing: somehow they took her, even though I have a feeling they didn't want to take her because she was a female. But they did take her because of her psychic abilities, so they can be used. Because they could pinpoint where the enemy is hiding, and and the thing is, she's in some program. I'm trying to see what program that is because it feels like it covers all parts of Africa. And there's a huge underground base, and it's connected to the other underground base. It's all like goes like in a circular motion with a tubing system all around as I see it under the continent. And then she's taken there and they're studying her. So there's like cardiovascular system, they study that. They study the muscle response and cardiovascular system response to the hormonal kind of what it gets, hormones get produced and expelled into the blood system. I forgot the word.
The
And
glands.
yeah, like what happens with this much adrenaline level, that much adrenaline level. And then I also see they do some injections into parts of her body on that in that underground facility. Because they're trying to understand the the nervous system, how it reacts to certain substances and certain environmental stimuli like that. But that's a program when they try to slowly convert a human being into a super soldier type body, which it can be, which when parts of the body can be enhanced with new technology. And new technology, I see it as the injections they do. It's like liquid mercury. It's like metallic substance but liquid, and it kind of covers. It starts taking over the tissues, the vessels, the capillaries, the muscle tissue, even the ligaments, everything related to the movement, to motion, because that's why I saw you run in the beginning, to run faster, to jump longer distances,
Right.
to be able to submerge yourself in the swamp and breathe underneath, because they do something about the lungs, the breathing, bronchs and system also, because lungs look pretty funny. They look like inside there's like capsules, and they're attached like little metallic balls, and they're attached to the sides to the mucous membrane. So and they only on the inside, not the outside. And they can take over. It's almost like she can become an amphibious being. Um, and they're converting that. So every time they need to do surgery like that, they need to put her physical body through it too, because it enhances the effect. There's something about that they need to do it at the same time to the physical and to the etheric.
Right.
Um, because they know that she would, if they only did it to the one part, to the etheric, the physical would still feel it. But the thing is, the physical is and the etheric are both connected to the parallel lives where she is used in those other programs. Because I also see her, she's like the the lunar operations. It's like she does some briefings. She talks to people. She talks to 4 soldiers. I see her like at long rectangular table, and she's talking. There's a huge room, and there are kind of tables all around, and they talk to 4 soldiers at a time. And she says it's something about strategy and how they can use their abilities. She almost like tells them how to use them, and how to gives them a pep talk in a way, like what's going to happen. She knows ahead of time how they can make it happen, and so the tables get um, turned in their favor, things like that. She because she's separate from there's some room where the control room, but she doesn't go there. She mostly deals with people. She just kind of sees through people. The system doesn't like them. She sees through the systems of control also, but I feel like it's almost at subconscious level that people don't like her, because they know she's not with them. In their mentality, she's different.
You're right.
She's very strong psychologically. It's like I see since very little, since she was barely walking, they would take her, and I see her emotional body and mental both getting split. It's almost like they would put cracks into them through. I see them trying to drown her in some sort of container with water, and then revive her, then shoot her, It's like a room, it's like a square room on the moon, and then they would keep shooting her, and there would be like a hologram around her. But there's some waves. It's almost like everything is a hologram, including the soldier that shoots you, but you actually feel it in your body. And I think that's a zapping of the electricity. It's like electrical current. Current goes through your
Mm-hmm.
body, and that makes you real scared because you're a child. You're not in control. You cannot do anything. And then they would try to make the kids fight with each other because I see them fighting, and she would be like in the corner of the room just crying and sitting down holding her knees with her arms around, and the other ones are trying to fight. They would starve them, and they would just tell them, oh, whoever wins over everybody else would get the food and things like that, like torture measures of some sort. Because I see that's they would do that. I see the electric chair, kind of like very old looking type, like from the 40s almost. And they would do that too. Because I see multiple like cracks in her mental and emotional body. There's also some, so those two major implants, they have the wiring system. It's almost like exoskeleton. It goes inside your vessels, not capillaries, but bigger kind of vessels, right? So
Mm-hmm.
to control the blood flow, because your blood it carries specific. I almost like I see it a different color than I usually see it. It's kind of like a glowing purple, but it's glowing. It's got the spark to it, and I think it comes from her DNA. And they after her experiences. She's been in Orion Wars, Galactic Wars, in different galaxies also. She's been she's been to Pleiades, but she's originally from, I see Venus, that's what I
Mm-hmm.
see. And she's been Venus and Jupiter. Jupiter, I see her in a uniform. It's like a color, kind of like a sandy color uniform with a triangle. So triangle is a black background with it's like a symbol to it. Inside there's like inside the triangle there's a triangle star, and then inside the triangle star this looks like a number 2, but then it turns into number 4 by number 2 merging with number 4.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I can explain. And she's been in different forces there too, but by choice. She likes the freedom of thought, she says, her subconscious, and freedom of speech. And she understands that we are slaves here. And she fights against slavery system everywhere in the
Mm-hmm.
universe. I see her spacecraft. It looks very much like that 3-point star on her label on her sleeve. And she sits there by herself. It looks like a military jet, but a very interesting shape to it. And then it produces like blue flames, and blue flames create like a protection shield around. And I see reptilians fighting with her. Typical flat face reptilians mixed with human DNA hybrids. And they're like light green in face and dark green in body. And they have red stripe on the tails and going on the spine. And they are on spacecrafts also. But They on the spacecrafts with the Kruger people, and that's how she got sucked in somehow. There's this thing on the back. It's a shooting plasma thing, and when it shoots, I see it shooting. It is like a big drop of water. It swallows you. I don't know how it does it, but that's the technology involved. Like, and it swallows her at the bottom level of the spacecraft because it's very good. It's a dark night. It's called ship because they call it that way. And it's a bit like a mothership type. And there's a lot of people of hers. They caught more than 200 on different spacecrafts. The interesting thing is when that plasma drop absorbed the ship got burned up and they just sucked her in. And I see them lying at the bottom of the ship, of Kruger ship, and they're just like unconscious or something. They put them in tubes. Tubes are laying on the ground and they have openings on the side, and they put them in the green kind of it's a gas. It's gas. It's not glue. It's gas, and they put the lids on the sides, and that's how they preserve the bodies till they come to the station. It's a lunar. Yeah, it's a lunar command station, but it's a bottom level, the very, very bottom level, because it's almost like the elevator down. It looks like a capsule, big one, with all those bodies, and they put them in the lab. It's like the slab is very weird looking, because it's got a lot of like dark yellow lights, and they all in its dark room, and it's very cold. It's almost like a freezing kind of feeling I get. It's cold, and I see the thermostat or whatever they check. It's built into the wall, and I see the temperature there. Like -18 or 20 ideal, that's what they keep the bodies at, that temperature. But I see how they extract the souls. So they somehow, this green gas makes the soul, the essence, right, inside the bodies, that makes it vulnerable. It makes it kind of easy to split apart because it's already split. It's almost like the way I see it, it's like when you take an orange, peel it, it opens up. And so they took all the 8 other parts. Oh, wait a minute, 1 second, let me count. So it opened up in 8 parts, 8 fragments of the soul. They took the 7 out, the 1 left in the body. And the 7 out is, so there's like 2 of them, Kruger Lunar Command Force, those are 2. Mars Defense Force 3rd. I see like a clones, 2 clones of her on Mars, cloning facility.
Mm-hmm.
And they are like very strange hybrids with short neck, and the face looks like this, octagon, but kind of like prolonged octagon face with the strange looking eyes, almost like a reptilian eyes, like they really hybridized her big time. Let me try to touch it, see. So there's like a snake, reptilian, mantis DNA in that hybrid body. There's really not much of hers in it, only 30% of her, like her original her.
Mm-hmm.
and there are 2 of them. But then the rest is, it's like the rest 4 is just this life and the other 3 parallel lives. Again, there's 1, so there's 1, 2, and there's 1 in a run. It really comes up like she's in the run also. She's a soldier there. She's defending the population. And it's more like she's not even dressed as a soldier, but she's a guy who is just, it's like the population created its own defense force, let's say, and they all in civilian clothing, because I see her wearing some khaki pants and a shirt. So, but she has like a big, like Kalashnikov type gun, like huge, and she's just living a solitary life. But it's like I see this big village. I mean, there's like, I don't know, for me it looks big, but there's like 20, 25 maybe houses in there. And there's just clay kind of fence and the arc. And her house is right here to the right. And she guards the village at night because they're constantly being attacked. There's something about, there's some artifacts in this area, and it looks like a desert, really. There's really nothing there, but underneath, I see giant crystals, like real big. 2, 1, they form like a triangle thing, and in the middle of the triangle, there's some, it looks like an old looking, come si dice la scatola, like, sorry, just like, forgot the English word, like a box or like an ancient, I forgot the word or whatever, like looks like a box, that was a treasure type thing. But I feel some technology in it. There's different like pipes, and they kind of like form some interesting thingy that looks like a hedgehog thing with little crystals sticking out, and they're red in color like rubies. And I feel like that can be used for not only opening portals, but only seeing the timelines without, and changing them without even going to those timelines, something like this. And the energy of the people in this village is kind of preserving that area. And what they do, they want to burn it up and make people leave. And it's happened a few times already, because they see they rebuild their houses a lot of times. And they figured out, now they're made out of some clay that doesn't get burnt or something. It looks very interesting, like building wise. It's kind of like roundish, and almost like somebody took a clay and build it like that. Simple, like old-fashioned type. So she's there. So basically, whenever you go and see, she's working with people, and she's protecting. And the thing is, she got into a group of opposition. She's an opposition group. And right now what's happening to the moon, where she's kind of telling, giving her knowledge to others, she now started giving her knowledge the opposite way. She started telling them how to pull themselves out of the program, what person to ask to pull the files out of the database, because moon is being taken over, and they don't like that. They're still trying to keep some assets there, hopefully to take it back under their control, but it's not happening. And what they're doing now, they're attacking all the people who are in opposition groups. because I see she's blocked in her body. Like if she wants, like let's say she goes in meditation, wants to get out of her body and like go somewhere and in etheric, she cannot. They put some layer on her. I see it, it's like gray, kind of dense gray layer around her energy body, and it's like some pins almost, like needles type, holding her energy body inside. And she's also very energy efficient, and that's why they use her in SSP, because she can run forever, she can do all kinds of stuff. And her DNA is so she's all about endurance. It's like no matter how much she's wounded in fights, she would always recover.
Hmm.
And they do use, they've done a lot of um, regeneration tanks, stuff like that was her. And I'm trying to see if she did those 20 years and back, or because I feel like she did. She did two of them. I see 20 by 2. That's what her soul told me. And she did that too because the way they told her about it, they approached her in her dream state and gave her the contract and said that here, that's how you can escape your horrible life here at the earth level, the physical level. And if you sign it, you can be in better situation. You will have food and clean water and all this, and somebody will take care of you. All you have to do is to let us use your psychic abilities, and you could just work for us, so we'll provide everything else. And I feel like she was desperate in that life, and she just like, well, basically she was desperate for her life one, and this is life two. When they signed the contract in the first life, they couldn't really do it because she still didn't have implants. They couldn't put that in her. She was like a fountain of energy pouring out, and they couldn't possibly approach her with this kind of type energy. So they tried to reduce it and split her up more, and kind of it's almost like torture techniques they would use. I even see some strange thing, like she's in a reclining chair, it's on Mars, it's some lab, and they put almost like they take the energy body and put like a metal sticks through her brain, kind of like weird way, like push it through, force it. And I see her on the earth level, she has like severe headache. It's almost like to the point that she drops and passes out in that
Hmm.
life. And that's how they did it to her. They tortured her to the point of, okay, she'll sign the contract anyway. Mm, I see she's been doing something also with this, is it Locus? LOCUS 82. This is some project of some sort. I literally see her. She has some interesting devices like attached from the elbow to the tips of her fingers, and she can fly by using them, and she can also shoot. It's like at the those devices have like feathers, and each feather has like an opening with a red like plasma coming out, and she doesn't need a spaceship. She can just they drop her to some planet, and they tell her you have to destroy the population, some of it 10%, let's say, and the rest would be scared, and you would take them as slaves, and she would be forced to do that against her will. And that's why at some point, by the way, she was standing and next to her were kind of funky looking, imagine like pectoral, but standing upright, but no, nothing on the back, no shell on the back. But it's almost like some suit with technology in it that it can like pop, she can pop up weapons or knives. Knives are more like plasma knives looking thingy. And she would go with a squad. It's called a squad. The Locust 82 project. Never heard of it, but that's what it says.
Mm-hmm.
And they would go by group of 5, drop from the spacecraft by reptilians to the planet and take slaves.
Yes.
And then there would be like that spaceship would park certain where the opening is, the wormhole is, and they would just load up new slave groups, and then they would try to genetically modify them also if they need to make them comply and all this, and then they trade them for technology, for weaponry. Yeah, so let's do this. I'm standing next to her. She's looking at the desk. When she touched it with her 2 hands, I see it's becoming like multi-layered, because I saw that at 1 layer, but once she touched it, it goes like, it gets bigger, and I see the almost like levels of programs or something, like disks, like software.
Mm-hmm.
And she took it out, and there's a lot of, it's almost like there's certain maps on each disk. It's like technological, like computerized maps. And I tell her you can open a portal, throw them out. And she opens one, draws it with her finger like a door, and opens it and throws it out. Well, she takes the one from the heart area, because it was designed to separate her essence, what her soul tells her physical part, her mind, from her. And they would still didn't really have much success with that, because she's always connected. She took that one out, and she pulled the red wire out, because it was like going through all her organs, through her stomach, her uterus, and goes, and then splits and goes into legs. And that was the, remember I said the exoskeleton? I think
Mm-hmm.
what they were doing was that implant in the chest. They were turning it on. When you turn it on, it's like electrical current goes through you, and that kind of stuns you. In that moment, they can abduct her. They can, take implants out, put new ones in. It's like the time stops and it gets frozen. Everything stops around her. But that's what came to me when she started pulling this cord out. She pulled it all out. So there's also, exoskeleton includes those chakra implants. They are like, they look different. They look like wires put in round circles, and it connects to the other one. It goes like this, connects to the other one, goes like this, and so on. So when she's pulling them out, it looks like a big long cord, and it's like energetic. It's just one color. It's white. It doesn't have all the colors. It's just in the body. It lights up when they need it, to see what kind of shows how much energy she has in each energy center of her body. So they would take it, because they used to take a lot of her vital energy, especially when they would do like perform surgery on her, because they would want her to stay weak physically.
Mm-hmm.
Because that thing, they put technology into her, so it would have to grow into the biological tissues, and for that you kind of need to be stably put, not too much. So she took all of that out, There's one thing I see on both of her. It's like her feet. It's like in the middle of the foot, there's like a bamboo kind of stick attached with the wires. But that's not the reptilian put implants. That's from the third life. Well, that's a way they would attach her. See what they would do? They would attach her to some board, and then they would put, oh, it's just so weird. It's kind of like they would put sticks in her hands and under her feet, everywhere. And that's just like some, and then I see fire, and then I see them trying to burn her, but then only those sticks, as if she would feel the pain, but it wouldn't go into the whole entire body. It's like a torture method of some sort. And then I see ants, and then they would put her, like this pile of ants where they live. I mean, they're huge, they're termites looking ants. And I see a lot of people being tortured that way. Like they would put them in the ant pile, and then they would start biting their feet and things. It's so weird, all this stuff. And from that, she, in this life, she can feel her nerves, the nerves in her legs are screwed up. I feel like she doesn't really feel them the way that she's supposed to feel because of all these tortures, and they're somehow related to legs and arms. Hands, because in the hands, she has this ability to feel the, almost like a thin air environment. She feels the energies with the tips of her fingers, and they wanted to turn it off through torture techniques in those parallel lives because they know that they would affect this life. So she took all those out, and now I see her by computer in this big kind of like Lunar Command dome. She's taking her file. Actually, there's 3 of them out of the computer system. For Kruger, for Lunar Command, and for Mars Defense Force. She did that. She took them out. And that Locus 82 is under the Kruger. That's one of their projects. It's sub-project. So I see her holding the folders, and now she's back to her energy sphere. She's thinking how to destroy them. The original one is that she would let them use her as much as they want, for the promise that they would return her back to one of her planets, either Venus or Jupiter. And they promised that. That's why she signed it. She signed it mentally with her mind. She's just burning them. She's burning them in blue fire. She says it's a blue and purple fire. It's supposed to be the most powerful. She just kind of did this with her fingers, and it got on fire. So it burned up. And now I see her throwing it out, but once she threw it out and closed the portal, I see her as a little girl. She's 5, and she goes back to where they used to abduct her all the time. And she said, that's my way of fixing all this trauma. I want to just, with my little hands, with my little mind, with my big soul, erase those circumstances. And all the abductions, I'm just gonna erase them right now. What she's doing. I see her freezing each and every moment. and literally taking it out as if there are segments of the rope, and she takes certain segments of the rope out, and this is her timeline there, and she just throws them, and it was like an opening she did with her hands, and it's like a black hole. She threw them all out there and locked it with a lock. And then once she did that, she grew into her current body. And I see her, she put like a lot of energy into her mental, emotional bodies, and they regrew, kind of like the cracks got filled up with her own energy, and they're fine now. And I see her peeling, like in stripes, at the gray level that they put on her to keep her kind of separated from her own self, from her essence, and just keep her stable in terms of, so she wouldn't expand energetically. That's when she would be a threat to them. She's peeling all those energies down like a peel in stripes. And I see she turned them into a flower, and it's like bright orange flower, like a lily. And she just puts it in the portal and says it's the energy of honesty and love and freedom to all in space, and just kind of flows in space. She transmuted the energies, which is a very smart thing to do. So I don't see any more implants in her body. Her mental, emotional bodies are healed. I see her DNA, 28%. They changed the DNA. So from 28%, 14 is that those turtle creatures. The rest is reptilian. So she takes that percentage and she just erases it. It's like almost with elastic. She goes back to the moment when they did the DNA manipulations. They've done it by injections into her spinal cord and the back of her neck. That's what they did when they would abduct her. And she eliminated those moments too. And the DNA is back. She has 5, like 55 strands. The bright yellow looking, almost like sun energy or something like that. Like sun gold energy, strong, very kind of stable and clear-minded person. Like, I mean, because I see her subconscious and conscious minds, they are at the same level. They absolutely, like, she's really connected in a strong bond. Yeah, it's hard to deceive a person like that, because she's in total control in her physical mind, and she's total control in her. So now she's kind of pulling from all the lives. First of all, she did this, and she basically launched the energies to cleanse her parallel lives, everything. She disconnected from the program, all the programs there. I see the cords falling off of her, and just like they kind of like burnt up and disappeared. And she's just cleansing all the lives there too, so she's not affected by any of the events there. I mean, because she was even shot. Actually, she's been shot in her legs, in her stomach a lot in that Iranian life in Iran.
Mm-hmm.
And that might affect her also. She can have pains that are extreme sometimes, or indigestion, things like that. And she eliminated that, changed that out too. And let's see. Just looking what else they are doing. She goes back to that moment when she got absorbed by the reptilian ship, and she just cuts it out of the timeline. Also, she's gonna just keep the experience. She knows she got too close to them, and she knows that she had to keep a certain distance from them. And because she got scared, she lowered her vibration. That's how they got her, otherwise they wouldn't. There's a lot of things going into this being captured also, and she understands this is like multiple layered kind of it's consciousness and technology, so you have to be in sync with both if you're on a spacecraft like that, because spacecraft is connected to your consciousness. If your consciousness goes into low vibrational state, they can capture you and make you their own slave. And then she goes to, I just see her zooming to each and every planet in which they used her to capture the slaves. And before they would even approach a planet, in that moment, she freezes the time. She gives them the information. Here's what's going to happen. Almost like shows them on the screen, you know, that you're going to get captured. Do something with your consciousness and create a layer of protection around your planet like a bubble, and they would not be able to. And that's what they do. So the Jupiter, I don't know, she liked that life. She liked she's helping out a lot. Now she says that she's not locked in anymore by that, because she peeled off that gray layer that kept her locked in her physical body. She can come out when she wants in her energy body and help others at a etheric level. And she also changed that. So basically she eliminated all those events. She's no longer in that capsule, in that facility. So she's free. She's back to her planet. That soul fragment that was left in the body, 10%, it's still there, and she's free. The other lives are just soul fragments freed, and they're just being pulled by her bigger her or her higher self, or whatever you want to call it. And they're being pulled, and because they've been contaminated, they need to be cleansed. And just this 8%, I don't know if I said, but that's 8% of that soul is in her body right now. And it's just gonna stay until she decides to leave the body. But she pretty much changed everything. She pulled herself out of all the programs. So that was the main thing. And there something about that particular program that she was in, like they would target the legs and the arms. And I feel in the arms, they would build in weapon technology. In the legs, they would want them to act like robotic, and they would be remote controlled. They could totally change the speed, how fast you run. It's almost like a biological looking soldier, but the soldier that is superior to others. That's what they were trying to do with her. So, and she also gave information to the other 200, like altogether. So they all got free. She just gave information to everybody altogether, everywhere, the Earth level also. But she's telling me that a lot of people, unfortunately, are so programmed by the system. They do not understand. They don't like hearing her. They don't like listening to her. They don't like her energy. They just refuse to be around her, and that's what creates this, you know, inside of her. She feels it. She knows it. It keeps putting her in a low vibrational state. Also, just the knowledge of it. So, but it's just gonna It's gonna change. The world is changing now, but it's a tough, turbulent period right now. So I feel like she needs to keep herself kind of separated and safe from others. Um, she does it anyway. She's more of a lonely type of person who wants to be by herself and reflect on
Yes.
things. She doesn't resonate with people. So yeah, just continue doing that, but it's gonna, a lot of things gonna unfold, and a lot of them are gonna look very negative because we're running both timelines right now, positive and negative, and they're very close with each other. So high vibrational people are getting attacked also. We feel that, you know, but we recover quickly also. So, but that's yeah, that's it. I'm just telling her that she can invent her own way to raise her vibration, but it's mostly that it's just touching the ground and the, whatever nature she can get to, it would keep her vibration high. And she likes to be in this dream state type of mind, like meditative state, and she doesn't even need to close her eyes. She kind of sees the reality the way we don't see it with physical eyes. And
Can I ask a question?
yeah, sure.
Suppose she goes to another country, the same games keep going on, or
No, she
uh,
got disconnected. She got disconnected from all of this, and now she's the only creator in her energy sphere. Before, they were literally controlling her reality by implants in her, by her connection to her clones. She disconnected from those two clones, those two hybrids, because they look pretty vicious. And I feel like they would ignite anger in her a lot, like aggression, and she would just feel that it's not hers. But because she would also be attacked, they would just play a bad role in the whole situation. So she got uh, disconnected. Now she has to learn at the physical level how to control um, the programs that they put in her, but she has to reprogram herself, redo everything at the physical level. Everything was done at the etheric level. So her energy bodies got cleansed. She doesn't have the technology in her anymore, so nothing is affecting her physical. But she has to get out of the victim mode because she's also got the program, victim mentality type program, that she's
mhm,
constantly being attacked, and she also expecting to be attacked because she's so used to it in all the lives, in this life, it's almost like
mhm,
she can manifest by default the being attacked if she doesn't change that in her. She has to
mhm,
repeat to herself, I'm always safe, I'm in control. I'm in control because this is my space, my house, and nobody's allowed here. It's just me. I am the one who decides who walks in, right? So that's that's how
and why
she.
is she connected to me?
You're a very close friend. I see you in Mars Defense Force. I clearly see you walking together with her. I see you in some facility, in some training grounds. The training grounds on uh, just trying to see, it looks like a platform, but that platform is connected to Uranus, because it's clearly there, but it's like, it's like a platform energetically connected to that place, and then you go to the underground facility there. It's all inside, and there are different virtual reality kind of rooms, and there are also jump rooms where it kind of Yeah, not like a teleportation device, basically. When you go to Orion, Orion has the satellite system of planets, let's say. They have different training grounds too. You go there a lot. So you're like buddies. You call him my buddy, like my friend.
Hmm.
You're together. But you help each other also. And you're the one, you kind of figure the system out. Basically, you're at the point right now. You both figured out a lot about how you're being used at subconscious level. So at subconscious level, you're like 77, 78%, both of you. And that's why you're very connected. You understand what you're talking about. I feel like you don't even really need to talk. You just like understand each other because you've been through a lot of battles together and you really feel it's like you're an empath, you know, and you feel her so much because you are in those programs together. I guess right now, see how they her soul and your soul connected, and then your soul organized it the way that you can do a session for her, but it's almost like in a way it's a session for you also because you're listening to all the information. You can do the same. You can disconnect from all the programs by yourself. And I do see you in the dome in Pantheon 12, and that's on the moon.
Hmm.
And you left there. You left because I see all those facilities like domes are empty now. And almost like strange that I see you right now. You're like in stasis at some underground Mars space, and they don't really know what to do because you're like a rebellion type, and they're trying to figure out how to program people like you at a physical level because, or how to influence you at a physical level, because they would usually try to do it through either technology or chemical substances that they're offering to population now. You know what I'm talking about? So,
Hmm.
but things like that. But I feel like you're now in a kind of a pocket of reality where your soul is making a decision, um, how to detach. And that was a good thing. That's why you came up with this idea, because you really feel bad. And basically, whenever she feels pain, you feel it too. And she doesn't even need to tell you when. You have a very strong connection. It's like a cord, of
Hmm.
connection.
No, but so the attacks that happen to her right now in the Earth life, is it kind of training or preparation, or is it an effort to try to bring her back into the old programs? Uh,
It Yes, it's actually a training for, because they're trying to create a new kind of bubble of reality connected to the Earth, which is 3D Earth, because 3D Earth is falling apart. This matrix is falling apart, but the negative timeline that is splitting away from the positive, they're gonna take it and create this artificially created kind of bubble of reality where they want to have a special army of super soldiers like her, looking like biological bodies, but they're actually all um, kind of like robotic inside, with still parts of their body being biological. So that's their ideal. And that's why they're striving to this kind of blend of technology and biological. But they want to control the super soldiers, like remote control them, so they would not use their mind anymore by any means. They would be totally controlled. They could control their organs too, everything. so they would be more energy efficient. And it's like kind of like different generations of soldiers, and they get upgraded type thing, like they're
Mm.
upgrading their old army into this. So yeah, and that's, she's just suffering. She feels its attacks, and but they it's all orchestrated for her to be at the physical level to get an injury. In fact, that's the injury actually from the implant or whatever surgery they've done at the etheric level.
Mm-hmm.
They have to justify it or show it, so they know it would show up. But for her, they don't want her to figure out completely what's going on, so they would just injure her. And it's easier to believe that when you just know what happened, instead of like just the wound showing up out of the blue, and then you would start thinking hard, how is that? But yeah, but yeah, I see you in a very interesting body. Since you started talking about yourself, you came and you're very tall. You have this very white skin, this big blue eyes, like very, very light blue, and interesting kind of the head looks like like a square chin and goes like this. The brain is massive. It's like big in the back too. And you have a mouth, but no teeth, like just like a split. And I see you just absorb energy from the environment. So you don't really need to eat or anything. So you're from the sixth dimension. Azarian. You call yourself Azarian race.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you said. Yeah. OPUS 8 planet. Opus planet something. It's far away, you say. It's very far. You say you just came here to to check out some planets and got you're very empathic. You felt sorry for the beautiful planet like ours that it was captured and just came to help. Got captured by the same exact group of reptilians like she did, and that's why you were in the same kind of group. By the way, you might know, this session might stimulate your memories, and you might have flashbacks.
Mm.
For like people, if you start watching the videos on like SSP and things like that, you might recognize some faces from people who were in those programs too. I feel that you might. So, well, she's done. She's clean. But yeah, she should work. It's just all about the conscious level right now, mentally. Listen to the session, understand all of this. Try to um, listen to it a few times, because every time you listen to it, you understand more and more. So basically, what they would try to do right now, since she's clean, because the system, when you get rid of all the attachments, get yourself out of the program, they would always try to send people to you to, a lot of times those people would pretend they're your friends or something, but they would try to handle you or control you.
Mm-hmm.
And those are matrix people from the system. They would try to lure you back into the contract system being used, because they invested a lot of time, money, and everything into her. So that's why she should be careful. She should know. But also, um, dream in the dream state. She should prepare herself that she should just Never accept any proposals, any objects, anything. She
Mm-hmm.
should know it at a conscious level. Even if she doesn't remember the dreams, it would still transpire into the dreams, you know.
That's a good one.
So basically, we're done if you have any questions.
Mm, yeah. So the basic thing for her is to stay clear of all the programs and
Understand how it
liberate her.
works. Yeah, you see, sorry, like if she lowers her vibration for long enough time, right, and
Mm-hmm.
doesn't pull herself out of it by thinking herself out of it, understanding that's what the system is trying to do. The system is trying to put her in a low vibrational state via, low vibrational emotions or thoughts, or somebody's trying to bring her down by telling, some stories or attacking her or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Mostly verbally because they cannot really get to her anymore physically. So she just has to remember this, how the mechanism works. Once you're weak, physically, emotionally, mentally, that's when they usually grab you.
Mm-hmm.
So she has to be aware of it and be careful with people whom she trusts, whom she talks. She even lets them close, things like that. But I feel like she's trying to stay away from people anyway. So
That's what she's doing. But because everybody is a parasite almost in that country,
mhm.
it's almost impossible to evade everybody.
Yeah, I feel that she's on defense all the time. Yeah. Well, if she has any questions afterwards, you can always text me.
Right. Hmm.
But
All right. So thank you for your time. I'm going to think about all the things you said and distill something out of it. And if I would like another session, then I'll contact you.
mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it was an interesting one. Thank you.
All
I'll
right.
stop the